Hey, I'm up here at Southside Harley Davidson. We're in Indianapolis. I'm getting ready to ride the new Harley Davidson Breakouts, the 2018 model. I'm looking forward to it. Well, the handlebars are going to be the very first thing you notice on this bike. That is a sleek, streamlined looking motorcycle right there. It's what I call the no frills, man. This is right here is pure motorcycle. And that is a big, big back end on it. I like the contrast. I like the skinnier wheel on the front, the big fat wheel on the back. It looks comfortable. I kind of like that. It kind of sets me back a little bit. I don't feel like I'm leaning far over the motorcycle. That's kind of nice. It's obviously got a nice feel to it. And I know we don't talk much about paint jobs or that kind of stuff, but actually this is actually got a really cool paint job on it as well. I like the color. I like the shadow lines in it and stuff. It's this is really nice. And again, 114 cubic inch motor. I mean, I don't know. They just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I guess bigger is better, so let's take it out on the road and see how she handles. Digital speedometer. I'm a little surprised because it seems kind of like it would be blacked out, and with sunglasses on and sun out, I wouldn't be able to read it, but I was able to read it pretty easy. Always fun to get on a bike that's just totally different than what you're used to riding. The bike is low, fast, got these what I call drag bars. Yeah, this bike's fun. I feel more like I'm on a hot rod. The handlebars come out pretty wide, but I still think I would want, I don't know, maybe, and it would make the bike look horrible probably, but I notice for me, it's kind of hard to see behind me in these mirrors. Again, with this new powerhouse motor they have, it's all the power I could ever want. Well, at least all the power I'd ever need. We always want more power. Well, Eric, I want to thank you once again for inviting us out here to Southside Harley Davidson to ride another motorcycle. It's a tough job, but somebody has to do it, and I'm willing to take one for the team. 2018 Breakout, Softail Breakout. I got to tell you, I know why they build this up a little bit, because it gives you a little extra room, so when you hit the throttle, you don't come right off the back end. It's fun for me because this is totally different than anything I ride, you know what I mean? I love being able to get on a bike. You know, first of all, it's foot pegs, not running boards. Go from 16-inch bars to what I would call drag bars. I'm sure they're not drag bars because there is a little bit of a bend to them. But for me, that would be like a drag bar for me. You're kind of maybe not really leaning forward like a crotch rocket, but you're kind of a little more on it. And I have a tendency to feel cooler when I'm riding something like this than when I'm riding my Road King, where I'm just kind of sitting back and just kind of riding. Sure. Tell me a little bit about this. I know, once again, it's got the 114 motor on it, and my gosh, I know we always want more power. I don't know that we'd ever need any more power. Tell me a little about this. All right.
Well, you know, the Breakout's been in Harley Davidson's inventory, I don't know, 3-4 years, somewhere around in there. But 2018 is a year for Harley where they did a lot of redesign to the Softails. Dyna riders, I'm sorry, there are no more Dynas. You've already heard that. But I got to tell you, the new redesign of the Softails really makes a big difference. You got to come take one for a ride and just experience the motorcycle to see that you're going to get much better ride, much better handling capability out of this than what your Dyna motorcycle was. But the redesign of the frame, what Harley did was added a single monoshock now instead of the Softails. In the past had the shock absorber parallel to the ground underneath, so the swing arm moved up from pivoted at the top, and then would compress that shock on the bottom, and then that'll allow the dampening effect on the swing arm on the back. Well, now with the new Monoshock design, it pivots at the bottom, so as the rear wheel moves up and hits a bump, it compresses that shock. This shock has adjustability to it. In fact, this one has an external adjustment where you can set the preload on the motorcycle. So we'll show you the spring in just a little bit, but to adjust it, it's a manual adjustment on the outside. And all you do is look in the owner's manual. You see where it's supposed to be set, the number corresponding to the weight on the motorcycle. And then we'll go back and forth a couple times. And then all you do is turn this and set your preload on the motorcycle. Now the preload is set. So it's an easy set and forget. Once you figure out what it should be set at, you shouldn't have to make very many adjustments, and if you had to, you could do it while you're on the flight. One of the other things that they did on these new Softail models is they increased the forks. The forks now are 49mm forks, and they brought the technology of the Touring models with the Showa dual valve bending technology. So if you think about it in the aspect of you got two opposing springs working against each other, it's going to stiffen the ride, going to keep that front wheel on the ground, but it's also going to dampen it so that it's not absorbing, you know, all the bumps. Like and you get that on your motorcycle, you can feel some bumps sometimes, right?
Right.
So, you know, it's almost like going from a Camaro to a Cadillac.
Right.
In the ride on the motorcycle.
Yes.
And one of the other things they did was they increased the lean angle on each side. Now, on a Softail earlier model, you probably drug floorboards when you rode it, didn't you?
Right.
5-degree more lean angle makes it nearly impossible to drag unless you're really leaned over in the corner. Not saying that you can't do it, but it's a lot harder to do. And with the redesign, you know, you still keep the big 240 back tire. That's always been on the Breakout. The 130mm 21-inch front wheel on it, it's always been on the Breakout. So a lot of redesign. The one thing that they did change on this, number one, was the fuel tank. It went from a 5-gallon fuel tank to a 3.5-gallon fuel tank. A little smaller capacity. And then instead of having, you know, the big speedometer up front, now take a look at this. Everything now is all digital gauges built right into the handlebar cap. And so that's pretty cool when all that digital readout's right there in front of you, and all you got to do is glance down to it. And then you also have the idiot lights that show up right below that, you know, to tell you the turn signals are on.
I didn't think, because this is kind of a tinted. I'm wearing sunglasses. It's a sunny day, and it's high noon. I mean, the sun is straight above us right now, and I didn't think I'd be able to see that when I was going down the road, and I could. I was very surprised. I was very surprised about that.
Oh yeah, just some fabulous technology on this. So, you know, we got to really talk about what's sitting underneath that gas tank, Scott.
Yes.
That's the Milwaukee 8 engine. That was introduced in the Touring model motorcycles in 2017. So 4 valves per cylinder, 2 spark plugs per cylinder. This version is the 114 cubic inches. 114 cubic inches on a motorcycle that's 30 pounds lighter than the 2017 motorcycle. Right. I mean, that's a lot of powerhouse in this.
Yes.
And you can also get the 107 cubic inch version. So if you look at it compared against the twin cam engine in the 17s, the new Milwaukee 8 is twin counterbalance, so literally no vibration in this motorcycle. And Softails have always had a counterbalanced engine, so that it eliminated a lot of the vibration, but now twin counterbalanced. And the Milwaukee 8 is going to give you 10% more power than the 103 twin cam engine in the 2017 model Breakouts.
Right.
And even with the 114 in there, I'm sure you noticed when you twisted the grip, there was a lot of a lot there for you to deliver to the rear tire.
Well, I noticed when I took off out of here, I just kind of romped it one time, and I mean, I backed off immediately because there was a lot more there than I was expecting. Normally I wait till I'm going down the road, and then I get to a place where I've got a kind of a free spot, and then I'll just kind of go into it and you know, maybe get up to 70, 80 miles an hour or whatever, just see how it does. And just for fun, I just went ahead and just popped it one time, and my God, there was lots of it. Like I said, I'm glad they have that there was enough cushion behind me to keep me from sliding off.
So how far did the wheel come off the ground?
I'm not saying a word.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, the other thing, and I know it's silly, but the kickstand. I gotta say, I'm thrilled with the improvement they made on the kickstand on these bikes.
Yeah, and you know, with the reduced length of the jiffy stand, or you know, Harley calls it the jiffy stand, but the kickstand on the motorcycle, and then the taller tang on it, it allows you to get your foot up to it, so it's a little farther forward on the motorcycle. So it's just a short-legged rider, easy reach for you to find it, get it down to the ground.
Yes.
And one of the things they also did was improve this bike with LED lighting. So it gives you that wider breadth of light up front, so more road ditch to road ditch, to give you a farther distance down the road where you can see, plus the side ditches, because that's always important, you know, when we're riding in the dark at night.
Right.
Yeah, it is always dark at night, isn't it?
Most of the time.
So it would make sense to ride in the dark, but it lets you really see the side ditches, so if there's anything in there, you know, it'll help you avoid that. So Scott, we talked about this new Monoshock design on the new frame. Well, here's what it looks like. It sits right up underneath the seat. Notice that there's no adjustments necessary, so you don't have to take the seat off to do that. As I had talked about earlier, you have the preload adjustment from the outside, where all you do is turn the knob to the appropriate number that corresponds to the amount of weight on the motorcycle, sets the preload in the shock for you, and that's it. And you can make that adjustment on the fly again just by turning that knob if you needed to add a little more to adjust the suspension to get that great ride for you.
I love the performance of them. Obviously, the cosmetics, there were some changes, so you're going to have some people, I like the old better, some are going to say I like the new better. You're always going to get that, but performance-wise, they can't be beat.